back at my Texas workshop, and just a reminder that we're trying to make this property into a cash flowing vacation rental. It sounds really fun, and it is fun. It sounds a little glamorous even, but when you actually get into the project, there is a lot that has to be considered to make something like this work. There's a lot of competition out there, and we want to make sure that we maximize the investment and make it a place that is the place that jumps out, you might say, when people start to scroll for a vacation rental. One thing that's interesting to keep in mind if you're looking at doing a vacation rental is the only way that people choose your property is from the pictures on the internet. And so the staging, the layout of the space, making sure it looks like it's accommodating more than just a couple people, even though it's a small home. These were all things that we had to consider. So being in Texas and having to order all of the furniture, I had to really think through room by room how I was going to make this work. A really significant issue that I ran into was the awkward layout in the living area and family room. So I got the room dimensions from our real estate agent, and this long, narrow room was 11 feet wide. So this is just 11 foot wide, which for a room, that is very narrow. The other thing is it's long. It's about 20, I think it was 24 feet long, something like that. So kind of an awkward space. So the fireplace is here, the TV is on top of it. So what I do is I go and research online and I look at dimensions. You can actually search based on a maximum width of a couch. And I'm always thinking about how many people can I fit in here comfortably with conversation, and what type of furniture should that be? What should I get? So in this situation, because they've got a fireplace and we've got a TV here, I knew that I wanted some sort of a couch for people to sit on to watch TV. But because this is so tight, it's not something that could float in the room because you wouldn't have enough room to actually walk in. So I got a couch that sat with a chase. I had to make sure that this chase was on the right side of the actual room, because I knew too that I had to bump into this space a little bit. Initially, I wanted to be able to keep everything clean. I like clean lines from where this opening is. But because I went through this process, I realized that's not possible. So I got a chase couch that actually opens up as a bed as well, adds space for someone to sleep. And I placed it against this wall, making sure that there is enough room. Here's the front door for people to walk in and actually get into that room. And ideally, you want to leave 3 feet around even a kitchen island or any open space if possible. So the other thing is I knew I couldn't put an end table here, and I'll show you a solution to that. So this would maybe hold 2 or 3 people, and I needed to create another space for people to be able to sit as well. I initially thought I would have 1 chair here and 1 chair here, but when I looked at the room, I realized that this side of the fireplace was actually longer than this side. So if I was to put 2 chairs there, it would look really odd, and it actually kind of pushed too much into the room in a very strange way. So what I did is I put the second chair over here. So I had already scaled these to make sure that they would work in the room. And then I always think about too, when I'm walking in the house, that's my first impression, this is where the eyes are going to go. So I want to make sure that what they see here is really pleasant. So putting a chair here, remember I needed lamps because there's no overhead light. So I placed a lamp here and here. I got smaller scale lamps here. I got black metal lamps here because the fireplace is dark here and the TV is black, and I wanted it all to tie together, and I put curtain rods up here that are black. So then when you look at this space, you think about conversation. Does this work for conversation? It does, because people are sitting here and they're sitting here. So the conversation is able to move around the room in a nice triangle, and that's really ideal. So now what do I do in this space? I got a plant, the potted plant. It's sort of like a palm plant that's fairly tall and goes up against the wall. I did that because this area needed to be grounded. If I didn't put something substantial there, it would look like it's floating, and I needed to balance out the weight of the fireplace, the big black TV, and over here, this chair. So that looked perfect. It was tall enough that it tied them into the mantle, and it was strong enough and it gave us enough texture that it balanced out the weight of the room. I put a wicker coffee or end table here, and it's one that goes all the way to the ground, because when you're looking into a room like this too, what we don't think about is when you've got legs on chairs, you need something that brings it back to the ground. This is on the ground, this is on the ground, and it just grounds a whole room. Then I got a rug that would be soft for people to step on, but I needed to make sure that there was enough space that it didn't feel like they were tripping on it to get into the room. The bathroom was very small, and it has no storage. It had a medicine cabinet, but when you start thinking about a family that's actually using that bathroom, getting ready in the morning, curling your hair, this was not going to work unless I could figure out a way to make it more functional. And I did. I did several things, and it was really interesting how we were able to function in there while we stayed working on this property. One of the first things I did is I got a glass shelf to go over the pedestal sink, and it sat between that and the medicine cabinet. Just that alone provides a space to be able to put your toothbrush, hairbrush. It's amazing how something that simple can expand the space. I added a second one over the existing towel holder because I got to thinking, if I'm in here trying to dry my hair, I need a place to put either the hair dryer or the curling irons. I added hooks on the side walls so that multiple towels could be hung. So after people took a shower, they had a place to put that towel. And I added a teak, I guess it's a tray, a bath tray, over the back of the bathtub that held the shampoos, also some wash rags, and it's a place to put your phone or your cup of coffee when you're in the bathroom. And as much as we don't think about those things, I can tell you, if you think about how you spend your time getting ready in the morning, you need a space for all those things. And finally, I purchased a small teak bench in the bathroom, and I put it down by the pedestal sink so that when I came in there with my makeup bag, and I bought these white little plastic baskets that you can carry in there. It's a place to set it down so that it's not sitting on the floor and it's not causing me to have to use the top of the toilet for a place to put my items. I've never seen a laundry room like this laundry room. This is one of those things when you are in a different area of the country, you have to kind of look at things and figure out, is this acceptable in this area of the country? Being in Minnesota, growing up, it got so cold this would never work. And actually in Texas, it wouldn't really work either because it gets pretty cool here as well. But in Florida, the laundry room being completely separate from the living space and having these barn doors to kind of just keep it together, even though it's not a sealed door, seemed like it would never work. But as we got used to this space and started to pay attention to how people live in this area of the country, we are actually leaving the laundry room where it is, and we're just going to paint the doors. And that is an expense I thought I would have to deal with, and now we don't have to. That in itself saved us quite a bit of money. So just to recap this up, there's a lot of problems with the small rooms, the layout of the room. We had to figure out a way to expand the living space. And we took advantage of the outdoor space to add on to the living space in the house and make it like an extension of the home.